Most business owners look at their website like the person who built it, wrote it, or knows the business behind it. But your customers do not. They land on your website with fresh eyes, very little context, and usually a simple question: am I in the right place? And today, I want to show you how to use AI to review your website like a customer would. Because sometimes the fastest way to improve your website is to stop looking at it like the business owner and start looking at it like the person you actually want to reach. So by the end of this, you're going to know how to use AI as a fresh set of eyes to review your website page by page. You'll be able to spot confusion, missed opportunities, weak messaging, and friction points, all from the perspective of someone visiting your site for the first time. Now, this is one of the simplest and most practical ways to use AI in your business. Not to write everything for you, not to replace your voice, not to overhaul your entire website in one afternoon, but to help you step outside of your own perspective. Because one of the hardest things about reviewing your own website is that you already know too much. You know what you mean, you know what services you have, you know where people should click, you know what the page is trying to say. But a first-time visitor does not. And one of the reasons AI is so helpful here is that it has no history with your business. It does not know what you meant to say. It only reads what is actually on the page. And that makes it surprisingly good at spotting gaps. Before you do this, I do recommend you know about the pre-bake the oven. If you open ChatGPT and simply paste in a page from your website with no context, can it still help? Yes. But if you give it a little direction first, the feedback will be better. You could tell it who your business serves, what the goal of the page is, what action you want a visitor to take, what makes your business different, and who you want the message to connect with. That context helps AI give you more useful feedback. Because again, AI is not magic. It is a tool, and the better you guide it, the better it can help you. So today I want to walk you through a simple process for using AI to review your website like a customer, not like a designer, not like an SEO expert, not like the person who built it, like a customer. And there are 4 things I want you to have AI look at. Can they quickly understand what you do? Can they tell whether they trust you? Can they see what to do next? And do they still have questions? That's it. This is not about making things complicated. It's about making your website easier for real people to use. So here we go. Step 1. Start with just one page, not the whole website. The first mistake people make is trying to review their entire website at once. Please don't do that. That is the fast way to feel overwhelmed and then do nothing. Just start with one page. Your home page is a great place to begin. Or start with a main service page, or a page that gets traffic but is not converting the way you want. Choose this one page and focus there. Once you have that page, copy the text or paste the link into ChatGPT or whatever AI program you use, and tell it what the page is supposed to do. You might say something like, "This is the homepage for my business. I want it to help first-time visitors understand what I do, who I help, and encourage them to contact me. Review it like a first-time customer." That one prompt gives AI a role and a goal. And that matters, because if you just ask, "What do you think of my website?" you're going to get some feedback. It's probably going to be broad and probably less helpful. So now let's move on to step 2. Ask AI to review the page like a first-time visitor. That is where the shift happens. You want AI to read the page from the perspective of someone who has never heard of your business before. That matters because most business owners are far too close to their own message. They know their terms, your terminology. They know their own process. They know what they mean, but a customer is coming in cold. This is where AI can act almost like an outside consultant. You can ask, pretend you're a first-time visitor to this website. Based only on this page, what does this business do? Who is it for? And what should I do next? Tell me what feels clear and what feels confusing. That prompt is powerful because it immediately tells you whether your messaging is landing. If AI cannot tell who the business is for, that is valuable information. If AI cannot tell what the next step is, that's important because the goal here is not to impress yourself. It is to understand what someone else is actually experiencing. If this episode is helping you think about your website in a more practical way, be sure to follow AI Simplified. This month, we're walking through how to use AI to elevate and improve your website in simple, doable ways that actually support your business. Okay, we're on to step 3. Ask AI where the page creates friction. Once you understand what AI thinks the page is saying, the next question is, where does the page create friction? Friction is anything that slows someone down, confuses them, overwhelms them, or makes them hesitate. Maybe the page has too much text at the top. Maybe the message is too vague, or there is no clear button. Maybe the page assumes the visitor already understands something they don't. And just maybe, there's too many choices or the next step is buried. This is one of the things AI does really well because, again, it is reading very literally. So you can ask, what on this page might make a first-time visitor hesitate, feel unsure, or leave without taking action? Be specific. That question right there can help you uncover the things you no longer notice because you've seen the page too many times. You're too close. It's your own business. And this matters because people do not usually leave a website and just tell you why they left. They just leave. So if AI can help you identify those friction points before you lose the lead, that is a big win. Okay, I know we've been through a lot, but we're moving on to step 4. Ask AI what questions are still unanswered. This is one of my favorite parts of the process. After AI reviews the page, ask it what questions a customer would still have. Because sometimes a page is not technically wrong, it is just incomplete. A potential customer may still be wondering, is this for someone like me? What happens next? How do I get started? What makes this company different? Where are they located? Do you serve my area? What does this include? How much does this cost? How do I know I can trust you? Whew. And if those questions are not answered well enough, people hesitate. So you can ask ChatGPT, after reading this page, what questions would a potential customer still have before feeling ready to contact this business? This prompt right here often gives you some of the most useful feedback because it shows you the gap between the information you provide and the reassurance your customer still needs. And that is where stronger websites are built. All right, you ready for step 5? Ask AI to help you improve the page without rewriting your voice. So once you've identified the gaps, you can ask AI to help you improve the page. But this part matters. You do not want AI to take over your voice. You want it to support your thinking. You want it to help you clarify, tighten, simplify, and strengthen what is already there. This is where I would encourage prompts like, rewrite this headline so it is clearer for for a first-time visitor. Suggest a more specific call to action for this page. Or help me shorten this introduction while keeping the tone warm and professional. Or suggest 3 FAQ questions this page should answer. That is a much better way to use AI than simply saying, rewrite my whole website. Because when you use AI that way, it keeps you in the driver's seat. And that is really important to me. The goal is not to sound more robotic. The goal is to sound more clear. Okay, now step 6. Use AI to audit your website without needing to be technical. This is the part I really want listeners to hear. You do not need to be a website expert to do this. You do not need to know coding. You do not need to know SEO language. You do not need to know design terms. One of the things I love about this approach is that AI lets you audit your own website without needing to be technical. That's right. You don't have to understand all the things. It gives you a way to ask smart questions, get useful feedback, and make better decisions, even if you are not the person building the site. That is such an empowering shift for small business owners because so many people have felt like their website is something they cannot touch unless they hire someone or unless they know all the right terms. And while there is certainly a place for expert support, you can still use AI to better understand what is happening on your own site. That alone is incredibly valuable. Now, if you do this exercise and you realize your website has more gaps than you expected, please do not let that discourage you. That is not failure. That is clarity. You are seeing what your customer may have been seeing all along, and now you can do something about it. This is one of the reasons I love using AI in business the way I do. It is not about adding more noise. It is not about doing everything faster just because you can. It is about helping you think better, helping you evaluate better, helping you make more informed decisions, helping you improve what already exists. That is what this process does. So here's what I want you to do this week. Choose one page on your website, paste it into ChatGPT or whatever program you use, and ask AI to review it as a first-time customer. You can ask, what does this business do? Who is it for? What should I do next? What feels confusing? What questions are still unanswered? That simple exercise can reveal a lot. Your website is too important to only be viewed through your own eyes. Sometimes the best thing you can do is borrow a fresh perspective. And AI can be a really practical way to do that, not to replace your judgment, but to sharpen it. So open ChatGPT, choose one page, and let AI help you review your website like a customer would. Because when your website becomes easier to understand, it also becomes easier to trust, easier to use, and easier to say yes to. I'll leave you on this note. Done is better than perfect. So I encourage you to just take the first step.